Denver's on the 39th parallel. Peyton Manning's currently 39 years old. And this number was also huge in the World Series. New York equals 39. Only two states do, New York and Arizona. Think about how the World Series was New York and Arizona after 9/11. Also, Kansas City also shares this 39th parallel, and they were coached by Ned Yost, who has name gematria of 39. I did a video in the spring training saying why the Mets would be in the World Series. I was right about that. After the Royals won, I showed why the Royals won it. It's all by the numbers. Everything's all synced up. It's all according to this planned code. The only game won by the Mets in this World Series was won by a score of 3-9. In New York, it equals 39 the small way, 111 the big way. It was the 111th World Series, part of the reason I knew the Mets would be in it. So Doug Williams, though, the quarterback who won the first Super Bowl as a black starter, won it 42-10. This number coded all over black Americans in a negative way. The Super Bowl was won on January 31st. Remember, Super Bowl equals 131, championship equals 131. A lot of Super Bowls have been played on this date. The last time the Broncos won the Super Bowl was January 31st, 1999, Super Bowl 33. Elway retired and went off into the sunset. Cam Newton born May 11th, the 131st day. Anyhow, that number 42. Again, the hateful word with all the coding. With regards to Doug Williams, the quarterback who won it, he has name gematria of 55 and 64, both numbers that are interesting. Civil rights equals 64. The Civil Rights Act happened in 64. Doug Williams was born in 55. This year, the Broncos are 55 years old, and so is John Elway. His full name, Douglas Lee Williams, sums to 199, which is interesting because it's the 46th prime number. Again, this is the 46th Super Bowl of the modern era. Levi's Stadium equals 46. Chicago equals 46. Ron Rivera, coach of the Panthers, played on the 85 Bears that went 15-1 and defeated the Patriots 46-10 with the revolutionary 4-6 defense. Again, Chicago equals 46. For Manning, he's only won one Super Bowl, winning it 29-17 over the Chicago Bears, a sum of 46 points. This year, his birthday comes 46 days after the Super Bowl. And with regards to Chicago and all this theming, the coach of the Chicago Bears right now is John Fox, who previously coached the Denver Broncos, who previously coached the Carolina Panthers. His replacements, Ron Rivera and Gary Kubiak, are now meeting in the Super Bowl. Heavy Chicago theming. Douglas Lee Williams, a connection to 46, a major number on this Super Bowl. Ron Rivera, coach of the Panthers, who coaches Cam Newton, played on those Bears that went 15-1. The day he was born on, also a date with 72 numerology. This year, the Super Bowl is on February 7th, which in many parts of the world is written 7/2. Here in the U.S., it's written 27. If the NFC won, meaning if the Panthers and Cam Newton won, it would be the 27th Super Bowl win for the NFC. 27 of 50. They went on a 13-game winning streak, starting with the 49ers in 85. The next team was the Bears. That streak was ended by the Broncos in Super Bowl 32. Things to think about. A lot of riddles riding on this game. A lot of history. A lot of coding. Anyhow, the date that he won it, Doug Williams, first black QB to win a Super Bowl, he won it January 31st, 1988, a date with a life lesson number of 58. Remember, that's where we began. That's where we began with Cam Newton, Huey P. Newton. Cam Newton's the 58th QB to start in a Super Bowl. The Black Panther Party was established in Oakland by Huey P. Newton. This Freemason code, Jerry Richardson, owner of the Panthers, drafted in 58. With regards to Huey P. Newton starting the Black Panther Party in October, it's the only month with 33 gematria. Race war also happens to equal 33, a number that's heavily coded in these stories of racial division. Race war, 33. October, the only month with 33 gematria. We celebrate Christopher Columbus Day in October, CC 33. called the people Indian, which has a gematria of 33. Talk about a race war. This nation began out of a genocide. And again, 33 connects back to 66. When you write out 33, it sums to 66. Black Panther Party established that year. Season of the first Super Bowl. NFL in Jewish gematria equals 66. So real quick, let's look at the 6 black quarterbacks to make the Super Bowl. Doug Williams, first one to make it against the Broncos. He won. The next was Steve McNair, who's now dead, R.I.P. He died July 4th, 7-4-4-7. The numbers of the Masons, the Zionists, the people who rule over by the numbers. I guarantee you Steve McNair was murdered by this sick gang as a ritual sacrifice. Nashville is also where Martin Luther King Jr. deceased. Nashville has gematria of 38 like death. A lot of strange deaths there. The musician Jeff Buckley died there visiting on a short trip, supposedly went swimming with all of his clothes on, including his boots laced up, and drowned. Guarantee you he was murdered and drowned purposefully as a ritual sacrifice. These people I am exposing are sick. Interestingly enough, the name McNair has gematria of 58, the number of Freemasonry. What do you know? The reason this is no surprise is because the Freemasons are running the show. Growing Manchurian athletes. Donovan Jamal McNabb, Pythagorean gematria of 58. Currently 39 years old. He was in Super Bowl 39 against the Patriots. Why that's interesting is the name Philadelphia comes from Revelation in the Bible, the 66th book of the Bible that's based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. He's also originally from Chicago. Born on a date with a life lesson number of 59 as McNabb, Negro. Born on a date with championship Super Bowl numerology. He went there, didn't win it, but he made it. Colin Kaepernick, another quarterback to go to a Super Bowl. Very interesting coding. He has the 93 number on him, another number that gets coded. Look at his last name, 66. So many suspicious numbers. Kaepernick, the big way, 93. Life lesson number of 39. Russell Wilson, the second black quarterback to win in a Super Bowl, also defeated the Denver Broncos. Russell Carrington Wilson, born on the anniversary date of the establishment of the Zionist State of Israel, which happened November 29th, 1947. This year on his birthday, he scored exactly 39 points over the Steelers, all part of a coded tribute. Anyway, name gematria of 137, the 33rd prime. Got that 119 in his middle name. Also born on a date with 39 numerology. And then there's Cam Newton, got the Freemason coding, showing up in the Super Bowl the year the NFL turns 96. Born on the 131st day, also making it to the Super Bowl. Maybe the first to win a Heisman, college championship, and Super Bowl. Could happen today. So if you haven't seen my video on Jerry Maguire, which came out in 96, remember Freemason equals 96, and the way that movie ends with a tribute to the Black Panthers, and with it having a lot of coding for Super Bowl 50 in San Francisco, check this out. San Francisco, 122, BPP for Black Panther Party, 122. The main character in this movie is played by Cuba Gooding Jr., Rod Tidwell. Rod Tidwell, throughout the whole movie, wears the number 85. The name Tidwell in gematria equals 85. National Football League equals 85. His name Rod Tidwell equals 122, like San Francisco. One of the first shots of him playing in a game in the movie is against the 49ers. The first is against the Packers, who went on to play in the Super Bowl that year. But anyway, this movie truly ends with a tribute to the Black Panther Party. It was released in history on a date with 50 numerology. You know, it's got so much Freemason coding on it. 139 minutes, Freemasonry, the big way is 139. Released on a date with a life lesson number of 50. Glenn Fry was in that film. He played the character Dennis Wilburn. Glenn Fry, Wilburn. He died just recently. I did a video showing how it was connected to the Super Bowl. See how these people who rule over us, who control the sports, control the movies, control the music, code their numbers, their foretellings all over. With regards to all this Chicago coding, get this. Fred Hampton, both the names Fred and Hampton have gematria of 33, by the way. He died in Chicago, supposedly murdered in cold blood by the police and FBI. And this is a story that's told to us even in the mainstream, which I've always thought was suspicious. Because normally you don't hear the truth about injustice towards black people, which is often. But for whatever, we've heard the injustice of this story. The date that Fred Hampton was murdered was a date with 85 numerology. Also a date with 105 numerology, like Zionism and Masonry. And just think about Chicago, the coding for it on this season, and the Black Panthers. And again, we're talking about how all these events from history have been mapped out with a future planned agenda, which we're about to realize in Super Bowl 50 and what plays after that. But just understand that the reason we have this Super Bowl is because we are being run, we are being led by man-men who rule with dishonesty, who rule with deceit, who rule with propaganda, who want nothing but for us to fight with ourselves, divide amongst ourselves so that we are more easily ruled over. And all these young men from Fred Hampton to Huey P. Newton to Cam Newton, they're all being used against their own interests. Their youth is being taken advantage of, you could say. With regards to MLK and Malcolm X, who we talked about earlier, they both died with major 44 connections. The word kill equals 44. Right now we're in the time of the 44th president, the first black president. When he was beginning to run, this headline came out about how JFK was nearly assassinated in Chicago relating to a football game. 44 years after JFK's death, new assassination plot revealed. Just think about it, truth seeker. JFK was shot in Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Freemason on 11/22. What happens when you add those numbers together? What happens when you add 11 plus 22 plus 63? You get 96 like Freemason. And you see how this story came out when we're getting Obama running out of Chicago? So this is what's up, truth seeker, and this is why mainstream media is trying to dismiss me. I'm telling the truth. I'm putting the puzzle together. If more people help me, we'd break this code a lot faster. And if this code's broken and if it becomes convincing enough for mainstream people to understand, accept, we can stop this injustice that's waged and ruled over us. The injustices we put up with every day. You know, rigged news, rigged sports, constant propaganda, constant theft of our wealth from our labor. That's why they distract us with these games too. Keep our minds off the things that matter. For the record, the name Phillips equals 47, just like the age Huey died at, just like the year of the first Super Bowl, just like his little tribute here, just like how he references this Simpsons episode, Stonecutters, which is about the Freemasons who sing the song We Do. We do, in regards to how they rule over us. We do. We do. 47. Phillips. 47. So what this is here, truth seeker, this is a Freemason dismissing the truth with mockery because he knows they're almost fully exposed. And look how he says here, a man calling himself Zachary K. Hubbard, if that's his real name. Yeah, it is my real name. The reason he says that is because he doesn't use his real name. Just another Masonic asshole. Just another deceiver, liar in the media. All right, now I'm just rambling, truth seeker. But I think we covered it all. This ends the Huey P. Newton, Cam Newton coincidence. Until next time.